Yeah, this isn't nothing like when
Welcome to Focus on the Candidates. I'm Cynthia Pooler. My guest today is Nick Pappas, and Nick is running for governor of Texas. So Nick's running for governor is quite a challenge. What made you decide to run?
I was actually enjoying my military retirement on my couch in my PJ pants, just relaxing, sleeping in, not taking any phone calls. It was wonderful, except a random YouTube video popped up on my TV. And I don't even watch politics, but it was of the last legislative session. I guess it was because it was related to Texas. And it showed up and it showed some of the Republicans introducing their bills, and I got to see rights getting restricted, freedoms being taken away. And immediately I started campaigning, like right off the couch. Like I started Googling, I started calling, I called the Texas Ethics Commission immediately and was like, hey, listen, I need to run. Like, what do I need to do to not get in trouble? And ever since then, I haven't stopped.
So how long ago was that?
That was mid-April, so not too long.
Oh, so you're just starting this adventure.
Yep.
So are you enjoying it?
Yes, I am getting to talk to so many awesome people. Some people less awesome, but still Texans. But it's very important to me that I talk to as many people as possible because I want to represent as many people as possible.
Are you originally from Texas?
For the most part, I was born in Massachusetts, but then the family moved here, and I was raised in Harris County. I got to enlist out of there, and when I retired, I came back and moved to DFW.
Okay. So you're Texas is an awful big state, right?
Oh yeah.
So there's been controversy over the redistricting in Texas. How do you feel about that?
Unfortunately, it screws up a lot of the candidates and their campaigns because a lot of the congressional candidates run and campaign through districts.
Mm-hmm.
With me, it doesn't affect me that much just because I'm always statewide. But as far as the elections are concerned, it's going to make them a little weird. But thankfully, with gerrymandering, no matter what the Republicans do, they cannot negate any votes. They can only dilute the votes. So all we have to do is just make sure that Democrats show up en masse and we win.
Wow. So running against Abbott is pretty big challenge. O'Rourke didn't make it, right?
That's right.
So how many times did he run against Abbott? Once, twice?
I believe once because he ran for governor, senate, and president.
Oh boy. Wow. So have you have you been involved in politics for a while?
No, I actually was not involved in politics at all before I started campaigning.
Hmm. So, it's a big learning curve. People who spent years in the trenches, it could be quite challenging. So what have you learned so far from this a short time that you've been running for governor?
I have learned a lot of very terrible and very awesome lessons very quickly. So
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that my gubernatorial campaign had the greatest shot of success. So I went out and I talked to as many candidates as I could, as many county parties as I could. I just went and out and talked to everybody. And one of the most horrifying things that I had learned is that the Democratic Party is not a well oiled machine. I'm surprised that they've won anything in Texas, which is really talking about how well the candidates either know how to campaign or just listen to their constituents. Because wow, the sheer lack of support from so many different directions is punishing. But when you're talking with a lot of these county parties, you get to see all of these people that are so passionate about politics. When you're talking with a lot of these Facebook groups, you're seeing all of these people that are so passionate about politics. A lot of people don't know where to direct their passion. And so, one of the things that I've been able to do is when I hear, like, oh, we have all these people that want to help. And then I go over here and they're like, oh, yeah, we have so many holes that people need to fill. I'm always like, oh my God, I now have a calling. So when I go to all of these different counties and I'm starting to campaign, I'm also talking with all of their local Facebook groups that are politically involved. And I try to get those people that are in the Facebook groups to join the county party. And so that'll give them a handful more precinct chairs. It'll give them a lot more resources, more political connections. And I got to see all of those things. That was the first lesson. Second lesson was a lot of these candidates are running through these counties and they're fundraising and taking all the money with them. And the counties are still stuck with all of the bills, but don't get any of the fundraising. So what I do is when a county party has me as a keynote speaker, I actually fundraise for them. I don't take a dime. Like if I'm not a keynote speaker and I'm just showing up, I'll still fundraise for myself. But if they're using their network, if they're using their political connections, if they're doing all of these things, I haven't been involved with the party, but this is an excellent way that I'm able to give back.
Wow. So you probably learned about a lot about politics and the intricacies of it, right?
Oh, yeah.
What, okay, what do you like and what don't you like?
Oh, okay. So we're going to start with the stuff I don't like first, so I can
Okay.
end that on a positive note.
Okay.
What I don't like is everything is pay to play. Everything. Everybody's like, oh, we need to get money out of politics. It's not like the DNC, it's not the US government that's putting money into politics. It's everybody below them. All of these media outlets, all of these different parties and organizations, everybody wants money. Nobody wants to do anything for free. Nobody wants to help. Everybody wants to be like, okay, well, yeah, pay me, and then we do work. Which, of course, everybody needs to be fairly compensated for their work, absolutely. But to the point to where they can't do any volunteering, it's very, very brutal. And I absolutely hate that. One of the things that I look forward to doing is getting money out of Texas politics as soon as I'm elected. And that's making sure that the state pays for campaigns, making sure everybody gets equal airtime, all of that fun stuff. One of the things that I have absolutely loved is okay, the Democrats have secret weapons in Texas. These are some of the most politically motivated, politically connected, and politically passionate people I have ever heard of. I've been talking with them, and they have been there's this one lady, her name is Cynthia Pooler. She actually just straight up invited me on her podcast. And it's stuff like that to where you have these people that are so passionate, they're just trying to get the word out. And then you see this and it motivates you and it drives you. And then that makes me more motivated. So when I'm talking to people that are able to host me, able to help me, they are even more passionate because they got more invigorated with it. And so, like, that is, it's definitely a cure for depression because you're sitting there and you're like, holy crap, like, these people want change. These people care. These people are putting in the work. And it's inspiring.
See, I've been interested in politics all my life. I'm a baby boomer. I've seen, different campaigns for so long, and I think politics, instead of getting better, is not getting better, it's getting worse. And instead of sitting watching YouTube channels of, all the things that are wrong, I created Focus on the Candidates. I found a way to contact candidates to get their views on their candidacy And instead of talking heads, I want the candidates to speak. To me, this is important. Growing up, back in the 60s, it was like, I tell young people when I was your age, all we had was a telephone in our home to communicate with people. Now we have this, we have the computer, and I just learned just the other day um, the QR code. So I could send the QR code or text QR code and people can subscribe. It's totally amazing. I just, I like the new technology. It's, you know, like a lot of people my age, they don't want any part of it. But it's like, I want to live this. I want to enjoy this. I want to learn from this. That's why I think what I'm doing is pretty important.
Absolutely.
Mhm. So, are there a number of other candidates running for governor right now?
Yes. Right now, we've got Benjamin Flores. He's a Bay City councilman and a pig farmer. We've got Bobby Cole. He's a East Texas farmer. And we've got Andrew White. He just announced. And there was one more. I don't want to butcher his name, but I'm almost positive it's Johnny Hammett. He just announced as well.
Oh, good. It sounds like you're embracing them instead of like uh, looking at them as arch enemies.
Absolutely. One of the things that I want to change in politics is the mindset. These guys are not running against me. We're all running against Abbott. I have no problem with these guys. All of these guys are Democrats. And as long as they uphold progressive values, I'm going to support them no matter what. I want to make sure that we have as many candidates as possible make it to the primary. So not only do we have a strong primary that has us challenging each other's ideas, but also gives the people options. Because right now it's like, hey, we give the people an option, and that's not good. The people need to have multiple choices. And so I want to make sure that that happens.
So, what do you think is the most important issues Texans face?
Oh, there's a lot. I have 24 policies on my platform,
Okay.
but the absolute immediate policies that need to be addressed and pushed to the forefront are economics,
Mm-hmm.
education, and immigration. Those are the three major plagues affecting everyone, regardless of socioeconomic status, regardless of location, doesn't matter.
So, what was the first one again?
Economics. So we're
Okay.
talking taxes, we're
Okay.
talking wages, we're talking employment, we're talking all these things.
Mm-hmm. This second one?
The second one was education. So we're
Okay.
talking teacher salaries, we're talking classroom sizes, we're talking what is students are eligible for.
Have you spoken to many school board members?
Oh, yes. So my mom is a retired Texas teacher, and she was also in SPED. So I got to see a lot of how awful she was treated, how terrible the teacher retirement is. I've got to speak with a couple of people on the TEA. I've got to speak with a couple of people throughout the Board of Education and an innumerable amount of teachers.
And what was the third issue?
The third issue was immigration. So border
Okay.
reform and immigration reform specifically.
What would you like to see as far as border reform goes?
So for border reform, I want to get rid of the silly little wall that meant nothing and they realized it was a waste of money. I want to get rid of that. That's political theater. I want to use technology. I want to use drones, LIDAR, radar, patrols. I want to be able to use these things and leverage them to help these people that are trying to immigrate into the United States, to bring them to actual immigration centers. So that way, one, we don't have people dying in the desert trying to give their family a better life. But two, I am absolutely appalled at the fact that the Texas government was putting razor wire and spiked buoys in the water. Yeah, that is inhumane. That is not a waste of taxpayer dollars. That's a use of taxpayer dollars to maim human beings, and that's no good. As far as border reform, I want to make it to where there's an actual buffer between the Mexico and the United States, to where people are able to immigrate safely. I want to make it to where it's, of course, on Texas land. I don't want to encroach on the sovereignty of Mexico. But also, if we're working with Mexico, they're going to help ensure that none of the cartels are having people run through our border. Because right now, they keep saying, oh, the border's locked down tight. It is absolutely not.
Are there still a lot of people coming through the border?
Yes.
Really?
And they are doing it very unsafe. So unfortunately, a lot of the people that are coming across the border are no longer with us. They die in transit, whether it's because they were locked in containers, whether it was because they would hollow out vehicles and have the people squeeze into the different compartments and try to seal them back up to drive them through. There's 100 horror stories that I've heard from the border towns. And I definitely want to make it to where people are not that desperate anymore. I want to put the coyotes out of business, and I want to put our border towns in business.
So Greg Abbott has been governor for how long?
10 years.
Why did you want to run against him?
Because I cannot tolerate the way that my fellow Texans are being treated. I was ignorant. I didn't understand. I was deploying worldwide for 20 years. I came back to rest, kick my feet up, relax, and enjoy the fruits of my labor. But then I saw what they're doing to people, and I cannot abide that. I am a straight, white male in Texas, a combat veteran, Marine Corps veteran, military veteran. They're never going to come for my rights. They will never harass me. They will never come for me. But that doesn't mean that what they're doing is okay. I see what they're doing to others, and that's horrifying. Why are they doing it to them and not me? Why would they not do it to me, but they would do it to them? And so when I see this, it has to stop. And then when I see the sheer level of corruption in the Texas government and how Governor Abbott has been strong arming the legislature, the judiciary, the rest of the executive branch, that's not something that I can abide. It must change.
So do you think that politics is an exclusive club and people like you are kind of like, we don't want you. You're not part of the exclusive club. What do you think about that?
So I actually have thoughts about that. So yes, there is a political class. And the only reason there is a political class is because they had enough money to lie to people. That's the only reason. We also have, as an example, precinct chairs inside of the Democratic Party that think that they are part of the political class. And when I laugh at them, they don't like that. So what I remind people is they can think whatever they want to, but if I convince enough voters, I'm going to be the next governor. Like that's how it works. It's a popularity contest. But what's more important to me is that we elect new people. You can't keep electing the same people and expect change. That is insane to me. People are all like, no, we need change, but we need to make sure that we elect this guy again. And it's like, why? You've elected him 4 times and literally nothing's changed. Oh, but it'll change this. No, it won't. It doesn't change like that. You have to get new people in with new ideas.
Do you think that change is just a slogan and the status quo likes it just the way it is?
Yes, 100%. So I am speaking with a ton of state level candidates and also local candidates, and they are amazing. They are fantastic. They have the energy, they have the drive, they have the policies to make real, tangible change in Texas. And that's what I want to bring too. So they help inspire me because I'm just like, wow, like these guys care. And then I'm like, hey, do you guys know about this? And they're like, oh, that's awesome. We should do that too. And I'm like, we motivate each other and we invigorate each other because that is incredible.
Do you watch other states with different candidates, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay. I'm in New York. I'm in upstate New York.
Lucky.
It's not bad up here.
You got some nice seasons.
Yep. But I'm watching a lot about the mayor's race in New York City.
Zoran Mamdani.
Yep. And he was the people's choice.
Absolutely.
And the status quo doesn't want him.
Well, why would they? They're billionaires.
Hmm.
So
And
one of the things that a lot of people at the that aren't in the political class, they vote against their interest. A lot of the people that are in the political class vote for their interest, which is why you see a whole bunch of these Democrats who know damn well that what is happening in Palestine is a genocide. They're
right.
not calling it. The reason why they're not calling it is because they accept millions from Israel. When you have the vast majority of the UN recognize Palestine as a state, but the United States doesn't, it's gross because we all have access to the internet. We all have access to TVs. Why would we just accept this? Well, they are just making sure that Republicans don't get into office. So they'll vote for any Democrat. But if there's two Democrats, one of them that will keep those in power, and the other one that will speak truth to power, they're going to choose the first one. They're going to vote within their interests. They're not going to endorse Mamdani talking about rent control and taking care of the people. They're going to endorse the guy that says, I'm going to make sure the people with money keep their money.
You know, technology is a big thing. Okay, like I said, people have access to YouTube videos, their cell phones, their computers. So they see a lot of stuff on through technology. And we see stuff every day, They talk about, like you said, the horrors in Gaza and that's really bad. But during during the Second World War, how many how many people actually knew how how horrific it was for the Jewish people then? Maybe they didn't know then, but the average person might know now. If the average person knows now, they're not really speaking up.
So, kind of. So, with World War II specifically, Hitler, Goebbels, they got a lot of their ideas from America's Jim Crow.
Yeah. And
And
the indigenous people also.
yes,
Hmm.
so unfortunately, America even had a Nazi party. But yeah, oh yeah. So unfortunately, we have one again, but I digress. It's very important that everybody understands that nothing exists in a vacuum. And so a lot of people did know exactly what was happening in Europe because we had the printing press. And so unfortunately, they only knew what the billionaires wanted them to know because they owned the printing presses. And so, with these situations, we have I think all of our media is owned by less. It's guaranteed less than 50 individuals,
Mhm.
and so they get to decide what America learns, and that's why I appreciate independent journalists and new YouTube channels and podcasts and stuff like that. That's why I appreciate them so much because they're not owned by the billionaires. Now
Mhm.
we've already seen that a lot of the younger generation, how their podcasters get so popular so quickly, is because they're actually funded by foreign governments. I mean, that's already been proven. But the fact that we have social media is the worst thing to happen to information since people were allowed to lie. So when the Supreme Court said, "Oh, hey, stolen valor, lying is not against the First Amendment, like it's perfectly fine," then Fox News was able to pump it out 24/7, and they get to change the narrative. They get to rephrase things to how they want you to feel about it. So we've got Israel and Palestine. They're like, yeah, but Palestine has Hamas. And then you're like, oh, well, I mean, if they've got a terrorist organization, like they got to root that out. But then you've got these independent outlets that are showing, like, no, they're starving citizens, civilians that have nothing to do with this. Like they're doing terrible things. They're moving them all out of the entire like West Bank, and now it's a fire sale for all of their homes and stuff. And then you're like, wait a minute, that can't be right. That's not what the media is telling us. And it's like, well, all of Europe already has all this information and they're pumping it out. Why do we not have it? And that's because, well, all of these media companies are kissing the ring.
Mhm. I'm not kissing the ring, right?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What makes you unique as a candidate?
I do not want fame or fortune. I don't want any of it. I want to fix Texas and then I want to go home. I don't want some long, cushy, profitable political career. I want to do right by my neighbors, make sure that everything is set in motion that should happen, and then go back home the way that our founding fathers intended. Our founding fathers weren't like, you know what, we should run for 6 terms. They were always like, no, like we have a constitution. We need to go back home to our slaves. That's a bad example. But they wanted to go back home. They did their service and then they went home.
Mhm. So you're fun to talk to because you've got the energy and you've got the charisma. I think it's great. Uh, Question. If your fairy godmother came down today, handed you her magic wand, and said, "You have one wish to make this world better," what would that wish be?
That's a good one. Um, well, for me to be governor so I could fix everything else. But if I could only enact one policy that I have immediately and without any pushback and everything would go through, um, women's health care.
Okay. Okay. And you think that's of utmost importance?
Absolutely. We
Okay.
have people fleeing the states. We've got women dying in hospitals. It's it's not good. It's horrifying. And when you talk to these people, I mean, you can't help but wrench your heart. Like a lot of these women, they want the babies, but the baby's going to kill them, and they can't do anything about it except die. And then the baby's stillborn, and then nobody wins. Everybody loses. But the Texas government counts that as a win. It's disgusting. But it's not just the abortion care. It's also the prenatal care. It's also being able to be screened for STIs,
Mm,
being able to be screened for cancer. Like all of these things, the contraceptives, all of these things were taken away from women
mhm,
by men who have no say. But the government decided that it was their place to decide what people could do with their bodies. And so women are being forced to have children that they didn't want or can't support. Families are being torn apart based on personal decisions. It's an entire nightmare scenario. So if there was only one thing that I could just railroad right through so I could focus on everything else, it would be enacting my women's healthcare reform.
Interesting. So if somebody who's listening to this would like to volunteer for your campaign, donate to your campaign, how could they reach you?
The easiest way is through my website, but also all of my social medias. So I'm a one-man show. I do not have interns or volunteers handling any parts of my campaign. So I would ask them to just reach out in any way that they possibly can on any social media platform. And that's just because I'd love to talk to them.
Great. So can you name your social media platforms?
Yes. So my website is Pappas for Texas. So PAPPASFORTX.com. And I can be reached through there. There's a contact form at the very bottom. There's also Facebook and Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Reddit, all of these different ones. It's just Pappas TX 2026. And they could reach out to me on there.
Great. So you've been listening to Nick Pappas. I'm Cynthia Pooler. This is Focus on the Candidate. But I want to say one thing before I say goodbye to Nick. Mark your calendars for the first Saturday in August. It's a holiday I'm trying to create. It's called National Candidate Recognition Day. On July 4th, we're celebrating a 250th anniversary. Birthday, I'm sorry. So on August 1st, I want to honor all the people today and who have run in the past, who have worked hard to make sure we have a 250th birthday. So if anybody is interested in helping me with that, my email address is localeverywhere@aol.com. Let's celebrate our candidates. Thank you. Thank you, Nick. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.